Mastering your thoughts is the quiet art of reclaiming authority over your own existence. The mind, when left unguarded, drifts like a ship without a compass, pulled by every passing emotion, every careless remark, every fleeting fear. Yet within every individual rests the remarkable capacity to steer that vessel with intention, to choose direction rather than be dragged by currents of impulse and distraction. Thoughts arrive unannounced, swift and persistent, often cloaked in urgency. Some whisper doubts about your worth, others exaggerate threats, and many attempt to lure you toward comfort instead of growth. To master your thoughts is not to silence them entirely, but to stand at the threshold of your own mind and examine each one with composed curiosity. This practice transforms you from a passive listener into a discerning gatekeeper. When you begin to observe your thinking, you discover how frequently your mood is shaped, not by reality itself, but by the stories you tell yourself about it. A minor setback becomes a catastrophe because your mind dramatizes it. A single criticism becomes a personal attack because your thoughts replay it with sharpened edges. In these moments, the untrained mind magnifies pain and diminishes strength, creating suffering that never truly existed outside your imagination. The disciplined thinker pauses before reacting. Instead of instantly accepting a thought as truth, they question its origin, its accuracy, and its usefulness. This small delay, often lasting only seconds, is the birthplace of control. Within that pause lies the power to replace distortion with clarity, to trade panic for composure, to reshape a destructive narrative into one that empowers deliberate action. Mastery of thought demands consistency. It is not achieved through a single moment of insight, but through daily practice, repeated with patience. Each time you redirect a negative assumption into a balanced perspective, you strengthen a mental pathway that becomes easier to follow in the future. Over time, this repetition sculpts a mind that defaults to reason rather than reaction, stability rather than chaos. Language plays a decisive role in this transformation. The words you use internally determine the emotional weight of your experiences. When you describe a challenge as impossible, your body responds with tension and reluctance. When you label it as demanding yet manageable, your posture shifts, your breathing steadies, and your focus sharpens. By consciously refining the vocabulary of your inner dialogue, you reshape the emotional landscape of your life. External noise constantly competes for your attention. News cycles, social media, opinions from strangers, and expectations from peers all attempt to plant thoughts within your mind. Without deliberate filtering, these influences accumulate until your thinking no longer feels like your own. True mental control requires the courage to question what you consume, to decide which voices deserve space in your consciousness and which should be dismissed as irrelevant or corrosive. Silence becomes an ally in this pursuit. In moments free from constant stimulation, the mind reveals its habitual patterns. You begin to notice recurring worries, predictable insecurities, and automatic judgments. This awareness is not meant to shame you, but to illuminate the areas where your attention has been operating on autopilot. Once exposed, these patterns lose much of their power, because what is clearly seen can be consciously altered. Resisting intrusive or harmful thoughts does not mean fighting them with hostility. Forceful suppression often strengthens their presence, causing them to return with greater intensity. Instead, acknowledge their arrival with calm neutrality, like a passing cloud crossing an open sky. By refusing to engage emotionally, you deny them the energy they require to linger. Gradually, they dissolve, replaced by thoughts that align more closely with your chosen values and intentions. Your environment influences the quality of your thinking more than you may initially realize. Cluttered spaces, chaotic schedules, and constant interruptions create fertile ground for scattered and anxious thoughts. By organizing your surroundings and simplifying your commitments, you create mental breathing room. Order in the external world supports order within, allowing your thoughts to settle into clearer and more productive patterns. Physical well-being intertwines closely with mental discipline. Exhaustion, poor nutrition, and lack of movement cloud judgment and amplify negativity. When your body feels strained or neglected, your thoughts become more reactive and pessimistic. Caring for your physical state is not a superficial concern, but a foundational element of cognitive clarity. A well-rested mind processes challenges with greater patience and evaluates situations with sharper precision. The practice of directing your thoughts toward gratitude and purpose acts as a counterbalance to the mind's natural bias toward threat and dissatisfaction. By intentionally recalling moments of progress, kindness, and opportunity, you retrain your brain to notice stability instead of constantly scanning for danger. This shift does not ignore reality. It corrects an imbalance that would otherwise distort your perception of the world. Every decision you make begins as a thought. The quality of your actions, therefore, mirrors the quality of your thinking. When your mind is cluttered with self-doubt, envy, or resentment, your choices often reflect hesitation or hostility. When your thoughts are grounded in clarity and self-respect, your behavior becomes more measured, confident, and constructive. Mastering your thoughts is, in essence, mastering the blueprint from which your entire life is built. Comparison with others frequently disrupts mental equilibrium. The mind constructs exaggerated images of other people's success and then measures your own progress against these illusions. This habit breeds unnecessary dissatisfaction and erodes motivation. By redirecting your attention to your own path and your own improvement, you prevent external benchmarks from dictating your internal worth. Distractions thrive on immediacy, promising quick relief from discomfort or boredom. Yet each time you surrender to them without intention, you reinforce a habit of scattered attention. Training your mind to remain with a single task, even when it becomes challenging, cultivates endurance and deep focus. Over time, this ability to sustain concentration becomes a rare and valuable strength in a world addicted to constant stimulation. Fearful thoughts often disguise themselves as preparation, convincing you that worrying endlessly will somehow shield you from failure. In reality, this pattern drains energy without producing meaningful solutions. By distinguishing between productive planning and repetitive rumination, you reclaim mental resources that can be invested in action, creativity, and genuine problem solving. The process of mastering your thoughts is deeply personal. Techniques that empower one individual may feel unnatural to another. What remains universal, however, is the necessity of intention. Without a conscious decision to guide your thinking, the default patterns shaped by past experiences and external influences will continue to operate unchecked. Choosing to take responsibility for your thoughts marks the beginning of genuine psychological independence. Over time, as you refine this skill, you begin to notice a profound shift in how you experience life. Situations that once provoked anxiety or anger now appear manageable, even instructive. Challenges become opportunities to apply your mental training, and each successful response reinforces your confidence in your own resilience. The mind, once a source of turbulence, transforms into a steady instrument capable of navigating complexity with composed precision. Emotional discipline is the quiet architecture behind a peaceful mind, the invisible structure that holds composure steady when circumstances attempt to shake it apart. Every individual experiences waves of anger, fear, excitement, disappointment, and desire. Yet the difference between a turbulent life and a tranquil one lies in how these emotions are received, interpreted, and expressed. Discipline does not erase emotion. It refines the way emotion flows through thought, action, and presence. The undisciplined mind reacts instantly, often mistaking intensity for importance. A harsh word is met with harsher retaliation, a delay is treated as injustice, and a minor inconvenience grows into an exaggerated grievance. This pattern gradually erodes stability, creating a cycle in which every external disturbance triggers an internal storm. Emotional discipline interrupts this cycle by introducing a deliberate pause between feeling and reaction, allowing awareness to intervene where impulse would otherwise dominate thought. Within this pause lies remarkable power. When a person learns to observe an emotion without immediately surrendering to it, the emotion begins to lose its authority. Anger is felt, yet it is examined. Fear is noticed, yet it is questioned. Excitement is enjoyed, yet it is balanced with reason. This practice transforms emotion from a commanding force into a source of information, offering insight rather than control. The disciplined individual listens to emotion without becoming its captive. Emotional discipline is cultivated through consistent attention to internal dialogue. The mind often narrates experiences with exaggerated language, turning a simple mistake into humiliation or a temporary setback into permanent failure. By refining this narration, choosing measured, accurate, and constructive words, emotions become less volatile and more proportional to reality. Language shapes perception, and perception shapes feeling. By adjusting one, the other begins to settle into healthier patterns. External environments constantly attempt to provoke emotional reactions. Competitive workplaces, crowded streets, digital platforms filled with opinion and comparison, all of these spaces are designed, intentionally or not, to stimulate strong feelings. Without discipline, the mind becomes reactive to every signal, exhausting itself through constant agitation. Emotional discipline creates a protective boundary, allowing the individual to remain engaged with the world while refusing to absorb every disturbance as a personal burden. Patience plays a crucial role in strengthening emotional stability. Many frustrations arise from an unconscious expectation that life should unfold according to personal preference and timing. When reality deviates, irritation surfaces. By training the mind to accept delay, imperfection, and unpredictability as natural elements of existence, emotional responses become softer and more balanced. Patience does not eliminate discomfort. It reduces the unnecessary suffering created by resistance to what cannot be changed. Self-awareness deepens this process by revealing recurring emotional triggers. Some individuals are particularly sensitive to criticism, others to rejection, others to uncertainty. Recognizing these patterns allows for preparation rather than surprise. When a familiar trigger appears, the disciplined mind is already equipped with perspective, breathing space, and rational interpretation, preventing automatic escalation and preserving inner calm. Breathing, posture, and physical stillness also influence emotional intensity. Rapid breathing, tense shoulders, and restless movements signal urgency to the brain, amplifying stress and anxiety. By consciously slowing the breath, relaxing the body, and grounding attention in the present moment, the nervous system receives cues of safety and stability. This physiological shift reduces the intensity of emotional surges, creating space for thoughtful response rather than reflexive reaction. Emotional discipline does not demand suppression or denial. Attempting to bury feelings often causes them to resurface in more destructive forms, such as sudden outbursts, resentment, or persistent anxiety. Instead, discipline encourages acknowledgement paired with direction. A person may feel anger, yet choose to express it through calm communication rather than aggression. They may feel sadness, yet allow themselves to process it without abandoning responsibility or purpose. This balanced expression preserves authenticity while protecting harmony. Relationships benefit profoundly from emotionally disciplined behavior. Conversations become more constructive. Conflicts resolve with less damage. And trust grows when others experience consistency rather than volatility. People naturally gravitate toward individuals who remain composed during tension, as such composure signals reliability, maturity, and strength. Emotional stability, therefore, enhances not only personal peace, but also social influence and respect. The cultivation of emotional discipline requires repetition and reflection. After moments of emotional turbulence, reviewing what occurred, what was felt, what was said, and what could have been handled differently, builds insight and prepares the mind for future situations. Each reflection strengthens awareness, and each improved response reinforces the belief that calm control is both possible and rewarding. Over time, the disciplined individual begins to notice that many situations once perceived as deeply upsetting now appear manageable or even trivial. This shift is not due to a change in the external world, but to a refinement in internal processing. Events remain unpredictable, people remain imperfect, and challenges remain unavoidable. Yet the emotional response becomes measured, deliberate, and aligned with personal values rather than momentary impulses. Inner peace emerges naturally from this consistent regulation. When emotions no longer swing wildly in response to every stimulus, the mind settles into a steady rhythm. Thoughts become clearer, decisions become more rational, and energy once wasted on emotional turmoil becomes available for creativity, learning, and meaningful connection. The individual experiences life not as a series of emotional emergencies, but as a sequence of situations that can be navigated with composure and thoughtful intention. Emotional discipline, ultimately, represents a form of self-respect. By choosing not to be ruled by every passing feeling, a person affirms that their character, principles, and long-term well-being hold greater importance than temporary emotional release. This choice gradually builds confidence, because each moment of restraint demonstrates personal strength and reinforces the ability to remain steady regardless of external provocation. Asterisk. Mastering your thoughts is the quiet art of reclaiming authority over your own existence. The mind, when left unguarded, drifts like a ship without a compass, pulled by every passing emotion, every careless remark, every fleeting fear. Yet within every individual rests the remarkable capacity to steer that vessel with intention, to choose direction rather than be dragged by currents of impulse and distraction. Thoughts arrive unannounced, swift and persistent, often cloaked in urgency. Some whisper doubts about your worth, others exaggerate threats, and many attempt to lure you toward comfort instead of growth. To master your thoughts is not to silence them entirely, but to stand at the threshold of your own mind and examine each one with composed curiosity. This practice transforms you from a passive listener into a discerning gatekeeper. When you begin to observe your thinking, you discover how frequently your mood is shaped not by reality itself, but by the stories you tell yourself about it. A minor setback becomes a catastrophe because your mind dramatizes it. A single criticism becomes a personal attack because your thoughts replay it with sharpened edges. In these moments, the untrained mind magnifies pain and diminishes strength, creating suffering that never truly existed outside your imagination. The disciplined thinker pauses before reacting. Instead of instantly accepting a thought as truth, they question its origin, its accuracy, and its usefulness. This small delay, often lasting only seconds, is the birthplace of control. Within that pause lies the power to replace distortion with clarity, to trade panic for composure, to reshape a destructive narrative into one that empowers deliberate action. Mastery of thought demands consistency. It is not achieved through a single moment of insight, but through daily practice, repeated with patience. Each time you redirect a negative assumption into a balanced perspective, you strengthen a mental pathway that becomes easier to follow in the future. Over time, This repetition sculpts a mind that defaults to reason rather than reaction, stability rather than chaos. Language plays a decisive role in this transformation. The words you use internally determine the emotional weight of your experiences. When you describe a challenge as impossible, your body responds with tension and reluctance. When you label it as demanding yet manageable, your posture shifts, your breathing steadies, and your focus sharpens. By consciously refining the vocabulary of your inner dialogue, you reshape the emotional landscape of your life. External noise constantly competes for your attention. News cycles, social media, opinions from strangers, and expectations from peers all attempt to plant thoughts within your mind. Without deliberate filtering, these influences accumulate until your thinking no longer feels like your own. True mental control requires the courage to question what you consume, to decide which voices deserve space in your consciousness and which should be dismissed as irrelevant or corrosive. Silence becomes an ally in this pursuit. In moments free from constant stimulation, the mind reveals its habitual patterns. You begin to notice recurring worries, predictable insecurities, and automatic judgments. This awareness is not meant to shame you, but to illuminate the areas where your attention has been operating on autopilot. Once exposed, these patterns lose much of their power, because what is clearly seen can be consciously altered. Resisting intrusive or harmful thoughts does not mean fighting them with hostility. Forceful suppression often strengthens their presence, causing them to return with greater intensity. Instead, acknowledge their arrival with calm neutrality, like a passing cloud crossing an open sky. By refusing to engage emotionally, you deny them the energy they require to linger. Gradually, they dissolve, replaced by thoughts that align more closely with your chosen values and intentions. Your environment influences the quality of your thinking more than you may initially realize. Cluttered spaces, chaotic schedules, and constant interruptions create fertile ground for scattered and anxious thoughts. By organizing your surroundings and simplifying your commitments, you create mental breathing room. Order in the external world supports order within, allowing your thoughts to settle into clearer and more productive patterns. Physical well-being intertwines closely with mental discipline. Exhaustion, poor nutrition, and lack of movement cloud judgment and amplify negativity. When your body feels strained or neglected, your thoughts become more reactive and pessimistic. Caring for your physical state is not a superficial concern, but a foundational element of cognitive clarity. A well-rested mind processes challenges with greater patience and evaluates situations with sharper precision. The practice of directing your thoughts toward gratitude and purpose acts as a counterbalance to the mind's natural bias toward threat and dissatisfaction. By intentionally recalling moments of progress, kindness, and opportunity, you retrain your brain to notice stability instead of constantly scanning for danger. This shift does not ignore reality. It corrects an imbalance that would otherwise distort your perception of the world. Every decision you make begins as a thought. The quality of your actions, therefore, mirrors the quality of your thinking. When your mind is cluttered with self-doubt, envy, or resentment, your choices often reflect hesitation or hostility. When your thoughts are grounded in clarity and self-respect, your behavior becomes more measured, confident, and constructive. Mastering your thoughts is, in essence, mastering the blueprint from which your entire life is built. Comparison with others frequently disrupts mental equilibrium. The mind constructs exaggerated images of other people's success and then measures your own progress against these illusions. This habit breeds unnecessary dissatisfaction and erodes motivation. By redirecting your attention to your own path and your own improvement, you prevent external benchmarks from dictating your internal worth. Distractions thrive on immediacy, promising quick relief from discomfort or boredom. Yet each time you surrender to them without intention, you reinforce a habit of scattered attention. Training your mind to remain with a single task, even when it becomes challenging, cultivates endurance and deep focus. Over time, this ability to sustain concentration becomes a rare and valuable strength in a world addicted to constant stimulation. Fearful thoughts often disguise themselves as preparation, convincing you that worrying endlessly will somehow shield you from failure. In reality, this pattern drains energy without producing meaningful solutions. By distinguishing between productive planning and repetitive rumination, you reclaim mental resources that can be invested in action, creativity, and genuine problem solving. The process of mastering your thoughts is deeply personal. Techniques that empower one individual may feel unnatural to another. What remains universal, however, is the necessity of intention. Without a conscious decision to guide your thinking, the default patterns shaped by past experiences and external influences will continue to operate unchecked. Choosing to take responsibility for your thoughts marks the beginning of genuine psychological independence. Over time, as you refine this skill, you begin to notice a profound shift in how you experience life. Situations that once provoked anxiety or anger now appear manageable, even instructive. Challenges become opportunities to apply your mental training, and each successful response reinforces your confidence in your own resilience. The mind, once a source of turbulence, transforms into a steady instrument capable of navigating complexity with composed precision. Emotional discipline is the silent architecture behind a life that appears calm, deliberate, and resilient even in the presence of turbulence. While many people chase fleeting pleasures or react impulsively to discomfort, the individual who cultivates emotional discipline develops a rare steadiness that cannot be easily shaken by praise, criticism, loss, or temptation. This steadiness is not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of response. The ability to experience emotions without becoming enslaved by them. Human emotions surge quickly and intensely, often before logic has a chance to speak. Anger flares, excitement rushes, anxiety tightens the chest, and disappointment clouds perception. Without discipline, these sensations dictate behavior, pulling actions toward regret and instability. With discipline, however, emotions are acknowledged, examined, and directed into channels that serve growth rather than destruction. This deliberate handling transforms volatile energy into purposeful momentum. The untrained mind interprets emotional discomfort as something that must be escaped immediately. It seeks distraction, retaliation, or avoidance, believing that relief lies in instant reaction. Yet emotional discipline teaches patience, encouraging a pause that allows sensations to settle before decisions are made. Within this pause lies clarity, because emotions, when given space, reveal their temporary nature. What feels overwhelming in one moment often softens when not fueled by impulsive action. Practicing emotional discipline begins with awareness. Many individuals move through their days unaware of the emotional currents shaping their words and choices. They label themselves as angry or anxious without investigating the precise triggers behind those feelings. By paying closer attention to the physical and mental signals that accompany each emotion, you gain the ability to identify patterns and anticipate reactions before they fully take control. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of psychological resilience and the gateway to a life guided by intention rather than by circumstance. Most people drift through each day oblivious to the subtle currents that shape their choices, unaware of the invisible forces that dictate moods, decisions, and actions. Cultivating awareness requires deliberate attention to the interplay between thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, and the environment. Transforming the unseen architecture of the mind into a vivid, navigable landscape. At the heart of self-awareness lies observation without judgment. This involves noticing impulses, reactions, and habitual patterns without immediately labeling them as good or bad. When anger surfaces, you acknowledge it as a temporary state, rather than a reflection of your inherent character. When envy arises, you note it as a signal to investigate underlying desires and unmet needs. By adopting this stance, you create a space between stimulus and response, where choice replaces reflex and clarity replaces confusion. Attention functions as a muscle that strengthens with disciplined practice. Each moment you consciously direct focus inward, examining the mechanics of your own mental and emotional processes. You expand your capacity to detect subtle cues that would otherwise go unnoticed. Thoughts that once arose unnoticed now present themselves for inspection, and emotional surges that once dictated behavior now become information rather than mandates. This heightened awareness increases the precision with which you navigate complex situations, respond to others, and make decisions aligned with your values. Self-awareness also illuminates the biases and assumptions that silently shape perception. Cognitive patterns learned in childhood, cultural conditioning, and repeated past experiences all create lenses through which reality is filtered. Awareness allows you to distinguish between perception and fact, to identify where subjective judgment has masqueraded as objective truth. By disentangling these threads, you gain control over the interpretations that guide behavior, reducing vulnerability to misjudgment and unnecessary suffering. The practice of journaling amplifies self-awareness by externalizing thought and feeling. When written down, fleeting impressions and abstract worries take tangible form, revealing recurring themes and patterns that may have been invisible in the flow of daily consciousness. Reflection on these entries uncovers subtle triggers, habitual distortions, and latent strengths, providing a roadmap for intentional growth. Each observation recorded becomes a milestone in the ongoing project of self-mastery. Observation extends beyond internal processes to encompass interactions with the external world. How do you respond to interruptions, criticism, or disagreement? What sensations arise when you encounter praise, success, or failure? By systematically noting reactions across diverse circumstances, you gain insight into habitual tendencies, emotional vulnerabilities, and areas where judgment is clouded. This information is invaluable for shaping behavior that aligns with both personal principles and strategic objectives. Self-awareness deepens emotional intelligence by clarifying the origin, intensity, and trajectory of feelings. Recognizing the onset of frustration allows for preemptive adjustment of response before the emotion escalates into counterproductive behavior. Identifying the root of sadness or anxiety enables targeted problem-solving rather than indiscriminate rumination. This level of insight transforms emotions from unpredictable forces into navigable signals, enhancing both personal resilience and relational effectiveness. The cultivation of self-awareness is inseparable from mindfulness, the practice of anchoring attention in the present moment. Mindfulness sharpens perception, revealing nuances of thought and sensation that otherwise escape notice. It highlights the transient nature of feelings, the impermanence of thought, and the malleability of attention. By training the mind to observe the present with clarity, you reduce the influence of automatic reactivity and develop a stable foundation from which deliberate choice can arise. Physical sensations serve as conduits to greater self-knowledge. Tension in the body often mirrors unresolved mental stress. Shallow breathing reflects apprehension, and agitation can manifest in restlessness or fidgeting. By learning to read these signals accurately, you acquire real-time data about internal states, allowing timely interventions to restore equilibrium. Practices such as breath awareness, progressive relaxation, or mindful movement connect cognition to bodily sensation, reinforcing the integration of mind and body in self-regulation. Self-awareness also requires confronting uncomfortable truths about one's tendencies, weaknesses, and patterns of avoidance. It is easy to overlook or rationalize recurring mistakes, but such denial perpetuates cycles of inefficiency, regret, and frustration. Courageous observation acknowledges these tendencies with honesty, transforming perceived flaws into actionable insights. Each discovery of limitation becomes an opportunity for refinement, and each recognition of strength reinforces confidence in the capacity for intentional growth. Decision-making benefits enormously from acute self-awareness. Choices informed by habitual, unexamined reactions are prone to error and emotional distortion. Choices guided by conscious awareness of preferences, biases, motivations, and emotional states tend to be more deliberate, consistent, and aligned with long-term objectives. In complex or high-stakes scenarios, this clarity can be the difference between reactive compromise and principled action, between fleeting satisfaction and enduring fulfillment. The interplay between self-awareness and empathy is profound. By understanding one's own emotional processes and mental patterns, you gain insight into similar tendencies in others. Recognizing the universality of fear, desire, and uncertainty fosters patience, tolerance, and strategic responsiveness in interpersonal interactions. The reflective individual becomes not only self-directed, but attuned to the subtleties of collective dynamics, able to navigate social landscapes with wisdom and composure. Feedback, both internal and external, accelerates the development of self-awareness. Honest reflection on successes and missteps, coupled with attentive listening to constructive criticism, provides critical information for recalibration. The disciplined observer treats feedback as data rather than judgment, evaluating its relevance, accuracy, and potential for growth. Through this process, perception aligns more closely with reality, and subsequent responses become increasingly adaptive and strategic. Ultimately, self-awareness is the foundation upon which mental resilience, emotional intelligence, and ethical action are built. It is not a static state, but a continuous, evolving practice that expands the horizon of personal freedom. Each moment of introspection, each recognition of subtle impulses, and each observation of habitual patterns strengthens the capacity to respond with intention, navigate uncertainty with composure, and live a life anchored in clarity, purpose, and authentic agency. A calm mind creates clarity, sharper decision-making, and a profound sense of internal strength that radiates outward into every facet of life. Mental clarity is not simply the absence of confusion, but the presence of deliberate, structured thought that cuts through distraction, noise, and unnecessary complexity. It allows the individual to see opportunities where others see obstacles, to discern the essence of a problem rather than become entangled in superficial details, and to navigate complexity with elegance and precision. This clarity emerges from the continuous practice of observing one's thoughts, evaluating priorities, and filtering inputs to retain only what is meaningful and constructive. The disciplined mind achieves focus through intentional attention management, recognizing that each moment occupied by triviality or worry diminishes the energy available for significant action. By prioritizing cognitive bandwidth for what matters most, you strengthen the capacity for creative problem-solving, strategic planning, and ethical judgment. The clarity gained through focused attention fosters confidence, reduces hesitation, and enables rapid yet considered response to emerging challenges, creating a distinct advantage in personal and professional spheres. Decision-making is profoundly enhanced by this clarity. When thoughts are unobscured by emotional turbulence or irrelevant distractions, options become transparent, consequences more predictable, and values more evident. Choices are no longer impulsive reactions, but deliberate expressions of principle, intention, and long-term vision. This capability allows the individual to act with certainty, even amid uncertainty, transforming potential confusion into purposeful action that aligns with personal and professional objectives. Clarity also cultivates emotional composure. The mind that sees situations accurately without distortion by fear, envy, or resentment can respond with calm pragmatism rather than reactive intensity. Challenges that would overwhelm the undisciplined are approached as opportunities for application of skill and discernment. By maintaining emotional equilibrium, decisions remain consistent, actions coherent, and interactions constructive, even under pressure or provocation. Creativity thrives in a clear mind. Distraction, clutter, and unresolved internal tension inhibit the emergence of novel ideas and innovative solutions. A mind that is disciplined, focused, and emotionally balanced can access deeper layers of insight, connect disparate concepts, and envision solutions that might otherwise remain invisible. The interplay between clarity and imagination generates work that is not only effective but transformative, producing results that resonate with originality and strategic acumen. Clarity is reinforced through reflection and self-monitoring. Each day provides innumerable instances in which thoughts, reactions, and decisions can be evaluated for accuracy, alignment, and effectiveness. Reflection sharpens awareness, strengthens judgment, and allows course correction in real time. The practice of examining mental processes without judgment cultivates humility, resilience, and continuous improvement, enhancing the capacity to navigate complexity with precision and adaptability. Mental clarity is not achieved in isolation. Environmental and social factors influence its cultivation. Reducing exposure to unnecessary noise, chaotic schedules, and reactive influences preserves cognitive space for higher-order thinking. Curating social interactions, media consumption, and work environments ensures that attention remains allocated to meaningful pursuits rather than dissipated in distraction. By shaping the surrounding context to support focus, the individual amplifies the effectiveness of deliberate thought and decision-making. Clarity also strengthens communication. When thoughts are organized, prioritized, and transparent, expression becomes coherent, persuasive, and impactful. The individual conveys intention without confusion, negotiates without misinterpretation, and inspires trust through consistency and precision. Clear thinking thus extends beyond internal benefit, enhancing relationships, leadership, and influence in the broader sphere of interaction. The practice of mindfulness enhances clarity by anchoring attention in the present moment. Awareness of the present minimizes the influence of past regrets and future anxieties, allowing decisions to be based on current realities rather than distorted projections. Mindful observation of thought patterns permits early recognition of cognitive distortions, habitual biases, and emotional impulses, facilitating timely intervention and adjustment to maintain clarity and composure. Physical well-being reinforces mental clarity. Rest, nutrition, and movement influence cognitive performance, emotional stability, and attentional capacity. A mind supported by a well-maintained body is sharper, more resilient, and better able to navigate challenges with precision. The integration of mental discipline with physical care creates a holistic system in which clarity, decision-making, and emotional equilibrium reinforce each other, amplifying overall effectiveness. Clarity fosters strategic thinking by revealing patterns, connections, and underlying structures that might otherwise be obscured. The disciplined mind identifies leverage points, anticipates consequences, and aligns actions with overarching goals. This perspective transforms complexity into manageable components, allowing for coordinated and coherent responses to multifaceted challenges. Insight gained through clarity provides a foundation for both immediate effectiveness and long-term achievement. Furthermore, a clear mind reduces susceptibility to manipulation and reactive influence, When perception is unobstructed by emotional turbulence or cognitive clutter, external attempts to sway judgment are more easily recognized and evaluated. Decisions are grounded in principle and reason rather than impulsive reaction or social pressure, reinforcing autonomy and reinforcing personal integrity. The individual thus navigates social and professional landscapes with confidence and discernment. Mental clarity enhances resilience in the face of uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, yet a mind that observes, organizes, and prioritizes remains anchored even when external circumstances fluctuate. Clarity provides a stable foundation from which to evaluate options, respond effectively, and maintain direction despite ambiguity. This capacity transforms challenges into opportunities for growth, learning, and the exercise of skill, ensuring that uncertainty becomes a catalyst for competence rather than a source of paralysis. The cultivation of a calm, clear, and focused mind requires consistent practice, reflection, and intentionality. Each day offers innumerable moments in which clarity can be reinforced through attention to thought, deliberate action, and mindful engagement. Over time, this practice solidifies patterns of cognitive precision, emotional equilibrium, and purposeful decision-making, creating a mind capable of navigating complexity with confidence, adaptability, and sustained effectiveness. Detaching from negativity to protect mental well-being is a deliberate, empowering practice that transforms the mind from a reactive vessel into a disciplined instrument of clarity, composure, and strategic thought. Negative influences, whether from external criticism, environmental stressors, or internal self-judgment, can penetrate deeply if unguarded, seeding doubt, anxiety, and distraction. The individual who cultivates detachment recognizes that mental sanctity is not granted by circumstances but constructed through conscious, intentional choices that filter perception and prioritize constructive focus. Negativity often arrives stealthily, disguised as familiarity, opinion, or societal expectation. It insinuates itself into habitual thought patterns, looping endlessly and amplifying vulnerabilities until it threatens to dominate perception. Recognizing these patterns as external or transient rather than intrinsic is central to detachment. By observing without immediate engagement, the mind identifies the source, evaluates relevance, and determines whether attention or energy should be allocated, transforming potential disruption into an opportunity for choice. The untrained mind merges self-worth with external judgment, accepting criticism, gossip, or societal expectation as indicators of value. This internalization multiplies the impact of negativity, creating layers of self-doubt and emotional turbulence. Practicing detachment enables discernment. Constructive input is integrated as information for growth, while irrelevant or destructive influences are acknowledged and consciously released. This differentiation strengthens the mind's autonomy, allowing responses to be guided by principle rather than impulse. Thoughts themselves can propagate negativity when unchecked. Patterns of worry, self-reproach, or pessimism recur and amplify distress. By observing these mental currents as transient events rather than immutable reality, detachment reduces their emotional charge. The mind transforms from a reactive battlefield into a disciplined landscape, where mental energy is allocated toward problem-solving, creativity, and strategic engagement rather than unproductive rumination. Information sources also contribute to the influx of negativity. Social media, sensationalized news, casual conversations, and cultural narratives often present distorted or exaggerated perspectives. Selective curation of information ensures that perception is not contaminated by constant negativity, enabling the individual to maintain clarity and rational evaluation. Filtering input allows the mind to remain anchored in reality, guided by discernment rather than manipulated by external agitation or fear. Internal dialogue is a potent, mechanism for either sustaining or alleviating negativity. Self-criticism, catastrophic thinking, and imagined judgments can amplify distress when internalized unexamined. Detachment involves redirecting attention to balanced, constructive perspectives, reframing challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and uncertainty as potential. This practice diminishes the corrosive impact of negative rumination and fosters a mental climate conducive to resilience and intentional engagement with life. Physical and environmental structures support the cultivation of mental detachment. Spaces that are orderly, serene, and intentionally arranged promote focus, reduce distraction, and anchor attention. Rituals such as mindful breathing, contemplative walking, or disciplined creative engagement create buffers between external disturbance and internal reaction. By shaping surroundings and behaviors to reinforce mental equilibrium, the individual strengthens capacity for autonomous response to both anticipated and unforeseen challenges. Detachment is not a singular achievement, but a continuous practice, exercised daily. New challenges arise, old patterns resurface, and environmental pressures fluctuate. Each encounter with potential negativity becomes an opportunity to exercise composure, patience, and discernment. Consistent practice rewires neural pathways associated with equanimity, gradually transforming automatic reactive behaviors into deliberate, intentional management of thought and emotion. Relationships present particular challenges for detachment. Conflicts, miscommunication, and divergent expectations can incite emotional turbulence. By observing interactions with clarity and distinguishing between personal attacks, misunderstandings, and projections, the individual maintains integrity while engaging constructively. Detachment in this context does not equate to withdrawal, but signifies refined engagement. Preserving mental space while participating actively and ethically in relational dynamics. Societal norms and cultural expectations further challenge emotional independence. Collective standards for success, intelligence, appearance, and behavior often propagate negativity by imposing arbitrary measures of value. Conscious detachment involves questioning these inherited constructs, evaluating them against personal principles, and asserting autonomy in perception and judgment. This stance allows the mind to assess significance, worth, and relevance independently, freeing attention from external compulsion. Detachment enhances decision-making by shielding cognition from the distorting influence of pessimism, fear, or reactive judgment. When negative impressions are acknowledged but not internalized, mental space opens for rational evaluation, ethical reflection, and creative problem-solving. Choices made from a position of detachment are deliberate expressions of intention, rooted in clarity and principle rather than reactive turbulence, allowing for strategic, consistent, and aligned action. Perspective, time, and reflective practice amplify the benefits of detachment. Events that initially seem overwhelming often lose intensity with distance, revealing opportunities and lessons hidden in apparent adversity. Recognizing this dynamic reinforces measured responses and diminishes impulsive reaction. The individual internalizes the understanding that external negativity is transient, mutable, and context-dependent, cultivating resilience and a stable internal foundation. Detachment conserves mental and emotional energy, redirecting it from irritation, resentment, and fear toward growth, creativity, and purposeful action. Resources that might have been wasted on internal struggle become available for learning, strategic planning, and engagement in meaningful endeavors. The disciplined mind navigates complexity, stress, and unpredictability without depletion, preserving vitality for circumstances that demand full presence, concentration, and application of skill. Finally, the practice of detachment nurtures a fertile mental environment for gratitude, perspective, and equanimity. By refusing to surrender attention and energy to corrosive influences, the mind cultivates the capacity for appreciation, deliberate optimism, and sustainable focus. This internal climate supports constructive relationships, strategic clarity, and authentic fulfillment, establishing a resilient foundation from which life can be approached with confidence, composure, and intentionality. Focus is the concentrated application of mental energy, a refined discipline that transforms scattered thoughts into powerful streams of intention and action. The individual who masters focus navigates life with precision, resilience, and clarity, channeling attention toward pursuits that generate meaningful outcomes. Distraction, both external and internal, threatens productivity, creativity, and emotional stability. Yet with deliberate cultivation, focus becomes a stable, dominant force that governs perception, decision-making, and behavior. The architecture of focus begins with awareness of attention itself. Most minds drift unconsciously, lured by novelty, social stimuli, or habitual thought patterns, dissipating energy on trivial or irrelevant matters. By recognizing the direction, duration, and quality of attention, you gain the capacity to redirect it intentionally. Observation becomes the foundation for control, allowing mental energy to be concentrated on tasks, insights, and relationships that align with strategic objectives and personal values. Discipline fortifies focus. Habits of deliberate engagement, practiced consistently, strengthen the mental muscles that resist distraction. The individual learns to prioritize tasks, filter information, and suppress impulses that lead to fragmentation of attention. This structured practice cultivates sustained concentration, transforming fleeting moments of clarity into continuous operational advantage. Enhancing productivity, decision-making, and creative output. Focus is deeply intertwined with clarity. A mind that perceives the essence of situations without distortion can allocate attention with purpose, distinguishing between what is critical and what is peripheral. This discernment reduces wasted energy and amplifies effectiveness, as every act and decision stems from deliberate consideration rather than reactive impulse. In this way, focus functions as both the lens and the engine of strategic thought. Emotional equilibrium reinforces the capacity to focus. Turbulent feelings, whether anxiety, anger, or excitement, scatter attention and compromise judgment. By cultivating detachment and awareness of emotional currents, the mind maintains composure, enabling sustained concentration. Emotional regulation transforms intensity into energy, rather than allowing it to fracture attention, creating a powerful synergy between clarity, composure, and directed action. External environments influence focus profoundly. Spaces that are orderly, quiet, and conducive to attention support sustained engagement, while chaotic or overstimulating surroundings erode mental energy. By shaping surroundings, deliberately curating workspaces, minimizing distractions, and structuring time, the individual enhances the ability to concentrate deeply. Focus becomes not merely a personal skill, but an environmental art, cultivated through mindful arrangement of conditions that optimize mental performance. Intentionality strengthens focus by aligning attention with core objectives. Every task, thought, and engagement is approached with purpose, linking action to meaningful outcomes. This alignment reduces susceptibility to trivial diversions, strengthens commitment, and magnifies the impact of effort. The disciplined mind prioritizes consistently, channeling energy into high-leverage activities rather than dissipating it across inconsequential concerns. Focus fosters depth of thought. By sustaining attention, the individual can explore concepts fully, connect ideas, and uncover subtle insights that superficial engagement overlooks. Complex problems, nuanced relationships, and abstract concepts require this depth, which cannot be achieved through fleeting or fragmented attention. Mastery of focus enables both analytical precision and creative synthesis, producing solutions and perspectives of remarkable sophistication and efficacy. Time management complements focus. Recognizing the finite nature of attention encourages judicious allocation, ensuring that mental energy is deployed strategically rather than squandered. Structuring tasks, segmenting time, and setting clear priorities transform attention into a force multiplier, amplifying productivity, enhancing quality of work, and reinforcing a sense of mastery over one's own mental landscape. Focus also enhances learning and memory. Sustained attention enables deep encoding of information, facilitating retention, comprehension, and application. A mind that concentrates fully on the present activity absorbs knowledge efficiently, integrates it with existing understanding, and recalls it effectively when needed. The disciplined use of attention transforms experience into lasting insight, creating a cumulative advantage in skill, understanding, and wisdom. Social interactions benefit from focused attention. Listening attentively, observing subtle cues, and engaging deliberately fosters trust, empathy, and nuanced understanding. Distraction diminishes relational quality, whereas concentrated attention communicates respect, presence, and insight. Mastery of focus thus enhances both personal and professional relationships, reinforcing influence, collaboration, and the capacity to navigate complex, interpersonal dynamics effectively. Resilience is strengthened through disciplined focus. Life presents unexpected challenges, competing demands, and persistent interruptions. A mind trained in focus remains anchored amid these pressures, allocating attention strategically rather than scattering energy and reaction to every stimulus. Focused resilience converts adversity into opportunity, allowing composure, adaptability, and effective problem-solving to prevail where untrained attention falters. Self-monitoring and reflection reinforce focus by providing feedback on attentional habits. Recognizing lapses, distractions, and an effective allocation of energy enables recalibration, strengthening discipline and sustaining engagement. This iterative process cultivates increasingly precise control over attention, converting effort into intentional, high-impact action and reinforcing the capacity for continuous improvement in both thought and behavior. Finally, mastery of focus harmonizes with other dimensions of mental discipline, clarity, emotional regulation, self-awareness, and detachment from negativity. Each element supports and amplifies the others, creating a cohesive mental ecosystem in which attention is concentrated. Decision-making is deliberate, emotions are regulated, and the mind operates with both power and elegance, producing consistently effective, insightful, and impactful action in all domains of life. Patience is the deliberate cultivation of temporal mastery, the ability to endure delays, difficulties, and uncertainties without surrendering composure or clarity. In an age dominated by immediacy, where desires and expectations demand instant gratification, patience becomes a rare and potent virtue, enabling the individual to navigate life's complexities with elegance, resilience, and strategic foresight. It transforms waiting, struggle, and frustration from sources of agitation into opportunities for reflection, learning, and the cultivation of inner strength. The foundation of patience lies in understanding the transient nature of external circumstances. Challenges, setbacks, and discomforts are temporary phenomena, fluctuating with time and context. The impatient mind amplifies their significance, perceiving obstacles as permanent impediments and discomfort as intolerable. By acknowledging the impermanence of situations, the patient mind reduces unnecessary emotional turbulence, allowing energy to be redirected toward deliberate observation, problem-solving, and adaptive action. Self-control is integral to patience. Impulses, cravings, and reflexive reactions often undermine long-term objectives, creating patterns of regret, distraction, and inefficiency. The patient individual exercises mastery over immediate desires, resisting the lure of expedient but incongruent actions. This conscious regulation of response preserves coherence, enhances strategic alignment, and reinforces a sense of sovereignty over one's own behavior. Reinforcing mental and emotional autonomy, patience also requires anticipation without attachment. The ability to plan and act while remaining unperturbed by outcomes outside immediate control. The mind that anticipates challenges but remains emotionally undisturbed by uncertainty develops resilience, composure, and foresight. This dynamic equilibrium allows for proactive engagement with the present while maintaining a calm, strategic perspective on the future, preventing anxiety, frustration, or reactive decision-making from undermining deliberate action. The cultivation of patience is reinforced through mindfulness and presence. By anchoring attention in the current moment, the individual reduces rumination over past disappointments and preoccupation with future uncertainties. Each moment of still observation becomes a training ground for enduring discomfort, appreciating process, and recognizing the unfolding of events without emotional escalation. Mindful presence strengthens the ability to navigate delays, setbacks, and unexpected developments with grace and clarity. Patience intersects with perception, shaping how challenges and obstacles are interpreted. The impatient mind often magnifies adversity, perceiving minor delays or minor failures as catastrophic. The patient mind reframes difficulties as opportunities for insight, learning, and growth, converting perceived frustration into productive reflection. This reframing transforms adversity into a teacher, revealing patterns, vulnerabilities, and areas for refinement that might remain invisible to those who react impulsively. Discipline in daily habits nurtures patience by reinforcing delayed gratification and consistency. Structured routines, incremental progress, and deliberate pacing cultivate endurance, allowing the mind to sustain focus over extended periods without surrendering to distraction or impulsive desire. Through disciplined engagement, the individual develops confidence in long-term planning, clarity in execution, and stability in emotional response, establishing a foundation for sustained achievement and composure. Patience strengthens relationships by fostering empathy, understanding, and measured response. Interpersonal interactions often involve differing perspectives, miscommunications, and conflicting agendas. The impatient individual reacts with irritation, defensiveness, or impulsive judgment, while the patient individual listens attentively, evaluates context, and responds thoughtfully. This approach nurtures trust, respect, and effective collaboration, enhancing relational depth and producing outcomes aligned with mutual benefit rather than short-term satisfaction. The practice of reflection amplifies patience, converting each encounter with delay or difficulty into a learning experience. Reviewing moments of struggle, frustration, or restraint reveals patterns, successes, and areas for improvement, reinforcing awareness and refining the ability to endure future challenges with composure. Reflection transforms waiting into intentional observation, struggle into purposeful engagement, and delay into a teacher of resilience. Patience enhances strategic thinking by creating mental space for comprehensive analysis and deliberate action. Rapid, impulsive decisions often overlook subtleties, misinterpret signals, or neglect consequences. By exercising patience, the mind allows for deeper evaluation, alternative consideration, and informed judgment, resulting in decisions that are coherent, effective, and aligned with long-term goals. Patience thus becomes both a protective mechanism against error and a catalyst for insight. Resilience is reinforced through patience, as endurance in the face of difficulty strengthens adaptive capacity. Each moment of composure amidst uncertainty builds mental and emotional muscle, creating stability that persists even under sustained stress. The patient mind learns to absorb shocks, navigate setbacks, and recover from challenges with elegance, transforming adversity from a destabilizing force into a catalyst for growth. Insight and fortified will. Focus and patience are interdependent. Sustained attention requires the ability to tolerate delays, remain engaged despite obstacles, and persist in effort without immediate reward. Patience anchors focus, ensuring that mental energy remains directed toward meaningful objectives rather than dissipated in frustration or distraction. Simultaneously, focus enhances patience by providing engagement, structure, and purpose, converting endurance into productive, goal-oriented action. Patience cultivates internal freedom by reducing dependence on external conditions for emotional stability. When the mind can endure delay, uncertainty, and discomfort without agitation, it liberates energy for conscious, purposeful engagement rather than reactionary turbulence. This independence from immediate gratification, social expectation, or transient outcome fortifies resilience, autonomy, and clarity, establishing a stable foundation for thought, action, and strategic engagement. Finally, patience nurtures a rich internal ecosystem where clarity, composure, and resilience coalesce. By enduring, observing, and engaging with deliberate calm, the individual transforms temporal delay, challenge, and adversity into fertile ground for growth, reflection, and insight. The mind becomes both steadfast and agile, capable of sustained focus, measured action, and strategic perception, producing outcomes that are deliberate, effective, and harmonized with long-term objectives. Self-discipline is the art of mastering impulses, regulating desires, and directing energy toward purposeful and constructive action. It is the invisible architecture of achievement, the silent engine that transforms intention into execution, chaos into order, and fleeting motivation into enduring results. The individual who cultivates self-discipline develops resilience, autonomy, and consistency, ensuring that thoughts, emotions, and behaviors align with long-term objectives rather than momentary whims. The foundation of self-discipline is awareness, the capacity to observe impulses and recognize the consequences of action before reaction occurs. Many individuals act reactively, driven by immediate gratification, social pressure, or habitual patterns, dissipating energy and undermining long-term goals. By cultivating observation, the disciplined mind pauses between stimulus and response, evaluating options and selecting actions that reflect principle, strategy, and purpose, rather than succumbing to transient desire or distraction. Delayed gratification is central to self-discipline, the conscious ability to prioritize long-term benefit over immediate pleasure. The impatient mind seeks quick reward, sacrificing strategic advantage and consistency. The disciplined mind, however, perceives the value in restraint, understanding that sustained effort, incremental progress, and deliberate sacrifice yield exponential returns over time. This capacity transforms challenges into opportunities for growth, endurance into advantage, and struggle into mastery. Consistency reinforces self-discipline by creating reliable patterns of behavior. Habits formed through repetition, whether in thought, action, or practice, reduce reliance on fluctuating motivation, embedding intentionality into daily life. A disciplined individual cultivates routines that support physical health, mental clarity, and strategic focus, establishing a framework within which decision-making is streamlined, effort is multiplied, and results are predictably aligned with objectives. Attention management is inseparable from self-discipline. The modern mind is bombarded with distractions, competing stimuli, and trivial engagements. By intentionally allocating cognitive resources to meaningful tasks, The disciplined individual amplifies productivity, enhances insight, and preserves energy for high-leverage activities. Focused attention ensures that effort is directed toward what truly matters, transforming potential chaos into structured, impactful action. Emotional regulation underpins self-discipline, stabilizing reactions to challenges, provocations, and uncertainties. Impulsive anger, fear, or desire disrupts coherence and diminishes effectiveness. The disciplined mind monitors emotional currents, adjusting responses to maintain clarity, composure, and strategic alignment. This regulation allows sustained engagement, deliberate problem-solving, and resilient navigation through the complexities of life without succumbing to reactive turbulence. Goal orientation is enhanced by self-discipline, providing clarity and structure to action. Objectives are defined, priorities established, and efforts concentrated with intention. The disciplined individual sets measurable targets, monitors progress, and adjusts strategies proactively, converting aspiration into tangible achievement. This alignment of purpose and action produces not only success but mastery, transforming potential into actualized capability. Accountability fortifies self-discipline by embedding responsibility within thought and action. Recognition of personal agency over decisions cultivates integrity, precision, and resilience. The disciplined individual accepts consequences, learns from missteps, and reinforces behavioral patterns that align with values and long-term objectives. This self-directed accountability generates consistency, credibility, and trustworthiness in both internal and external domains. Self-discipline is cultivated through incremental practice, a series of conscious choices that accumulate into habitual mastery. Each act of restraint, focused attention, or principled decision reinforces neural pathways associated with intentional behavior, creating a cognitive infrastructure that supports sustained effort, mental clarity, and strategic action. Over time, discipline becomes intuitive, shaping identity, influencing perception, and guiding behavior with elegance and efficiency. The interplay between self-discipline and resilience is profound. Life is inherently unpredictable, presenting obstacles, delays, and adversities. The disciplined mind responds with perseverance, adjusting strategies, maintaining focus, and preserving composure. Endurance becomes productive rather than passive, enabling the individual to navigate complexity with confidence, adaptability, and efficacy, transforming challenges into catalysts for growth and competence. Self-discipline also enhances decision-making, ensuring that choices are informed by principle, analysis, and long-term vision rather than immediate emotion or external pressure. By integrating clarity, focus, and restraint, the individual evaluates options with precision, anticipates consequences, and acts strategically. Decisions become coherent, consistent, and aligned with overarching objectives, reinforcing autonomy and minimizing regret. The cultivation of self-discipline extends to interpersonal engagement, influencing communication, collaboration, and influence. A disciplined individual listens attentively, responds thoughtfully, and navigates conflict with composure. Emotional control, measured expression, and strategic patience enhance credibility, empathy, and relational effectiveness, allowing influence to be exerted without coercion and cooperation to be cultivated without compromise of integrity. Self-discipline protects mental and emotional energy, conserving it for meaningful action rather than dissipating it through reactive indulgence, distraction, or rumination. This preserved energy supports creative problem-solving, strategic planning, and deliberate engagement with challenges, producing results that are both efficient and impactful. The disciplined mind thus operates as a high-capacity system, capable of sustained performance under pressure and complexity. integration of self-discipline with other dimensions of mental mastery focus, patience, clarity, emotional regulation, and detachment from negativity creates a cohesive internal framework. Each element reinforces the others, producing a synergistic effect in which attention is concentrated. Decisions are principled, actions are deliberate, and outcomes are consistently aligned with values and long-term objectives. The disciplined mind becomes a resilient, adaptive, and strategic instrument of excellence. Gratitude is the conscious cultivation of appreciation, the deliberate recognition of the value inherent in experiences, relationships, and the unfolding of life itself. It is the anchor that stabilizes the mind amidst turbulence, the lens through which challenges are reframed as opportunities, and the catalyst that transforms ordinary existence into a life rich with meaning, purpose, and resilience. The individual who practices gratitude perceives the world with refined sensitivity, acknowledging both the subtleties and the grandness of circumstance, thereby amplifying joy, perspective, and internal harmony. At the foundation of gratitude lies awareness, the ability to notice the often overlooked facets of life that contribute to growth, well-being, and opportunity. Most minds drift past these elements, consumed by desire, distraction, or preoccupation with absence rather than presence. The grateful mind observes the intricate interplay of events, relationships, and conditions, recognizing the significance of even the smallest acts, moments, or insights. Each recognition strengthens neural pathways associated with positivity, intentional reflection, and emotional resilience, creating a cognitive ecosystem that favors clarity, composure, and constructive perception. Gratitude reframes challenges as vehicles for growth. Adversity, disappointment, and uncertainty are inevitable components of human existence. Yet the individual who integrates gratitude perceives these experiences as teachers rather than punishers. Each obstacle becomes an invitation to cultivate patience, fortitude, and insight. Failure transforms into feedback, delay into preparation, and conflict into an opportunity for refined response. By consciously choosing to see the potential value embedded within difficulty, the mind converts hardship into a source of strength and knowledge, fostering an enduring sense of capability and self-mastery. The practice of gratitude deepens emotional intelligence, recognizing the contributions of others, acknowledging support, and appreciating effort cultivates empathy, social attunement, and relational sensitivity. Gratitude highlights interconnectedness, emphasizing the subtle influence of collaboration, mentorship, and shared experience. The grateful individual navigates social and professional landscapes with nuanced perception, fostering trust, cooperation, and influence, while simultaneously maintaining emotional equilibrium and a sense of inner abundance. Gratitude amplifies mindfulness by orienting attention toward the present moment and the richness it contains. In the flow of life, distractions, regrets, and anticipatory anxieties often obscure appreciation. By focusing attention deliberately on what is present, the mind experiences the texture, significance, and immediacy of each encounter. This attentional refinement enhances awareness, concentration, and perception, converting the mundane into meaningful experience and infusing daily life with a heightened sense of presence and physical and environmental awareness reinforces the cultivation of gratitude. Spaces of beauty, order, and intentional design serve as reminders of the aesthetic and structural value inherent in the surroundings. Sensory engagement, the sight of sunlight, the resonance of sound, a touch of texture, or the taste of nourishment anchors the mind in the richness of experience. By deliberately noticing and appreciating these elements, the individual cultivates a multisensory awareness that reinforces emotional balance, cognitive clarity, and holistic well-being. Reflection, is a vital companion to gratitude. Reviewing past experiences, observing personal growth, and acknowledging moments of resilience and achievement consolidate the habit of recognition and appreciation. Reflection allows the mind to trace the trajectory of development, discern patterns of learning, and internalize the lessons embedded in experience. Gratitude and reflection operate synergistically, enhancing insight, deepening perspective, and strengthening the capacity to respond to future challenges with poise and wisdom. Gratitude strengthens resilience by reinforcing the perception of resourcefulness and abundance even in constrained circumstances. The individual who perceives assets, opportunities, and support is less susceptible to despair, fear, or reactive negativity. This perception generates energy, motivation, and psychological flexibility, enabling engagement with challenges without depletion or distraction. Resilience becomes not merely endurance, but a proactive stance, guided by recognition of potential, support, and internal capability. Self-discipline, focus, patience, and emotional regulation are magnified through the lens of gratitude. The mind that consistently acknowledges value and significance is better able to regulate impulses, sustain attention, and endure difficulty without frustration. Gratitude infuses these practices with meaning, transforming discipline from mere compliance into a vibrant engagement with purpose, attention from mere observation into deliberate insight, and patience from passive endurance into intentional cultivation of perspective and resilience. Gratitude shapes decision-making by orienting perception toward opportunity and principle rather than reaction or fear. Choices grounded in appreciation, understanding, and long-term vision produce outcomes that are strategically coherent, ethically aligned, and personally fulfilling. The grateful mind evaluates consequences with clarity, anticipates results with discernment, and integrates both immediate and distal considerations into coherent action. Decision-making becomes both deliberate and expansive, reflecting both awareness and aspiration. Relationships are profoundly enriched by gratitude. Expressing appreciation, acknowledging contribution, and recognizing effort fosters trust, collaboration, and mutual respect. The social environment of the grateful individual becomes a network of reciprocity, support, and constructive interaction, where influence is cultivated through acknowledgement and connection rather than coercion or dominance. Gratitude transforms relational dynamics, creating space for authentic engagement, deeper understanding, and enduring interpersonal fulfillment. Cultural and societal pressures often emphasize scarcity, competition, and comparison, which can erode perspective and amplify dissatisfaction. Gratitude counteracts these influences by redirecting attention towards sufficiency, achievement, and interconnectedness. By consciously recognizing value, effort, and contribution, the mind stabilizes against external distortion, cultivating autonomy in perception and decision-making, and reinforcing internal equilibrium amidst the complex and demanding environment. Ultimately, the practice of gratitude generates a mind that is both resilient and expansive, anchored yet receptive, disciplined yet generous. By integrating awareness, reflection, patience, focus, emotional regulation, and intentionality, the individual cultivates a profound internal ecosystem in which clarity, composure, insight, and relational intelligence flourish. Gratitude magnifies the effects of every other mental discipline, enhancing perception, amplifying effectiveness, and enriching the texture of lived experience. By consciously weaving gratitude into thought, action, and reflection, the mind becomes a sanctuary of appreciation, strategic insight, and enduring contentment. Each moment, interaction, and experience is recognized for its contribution to growth, understanding, and fulfillment. This deliberate cultivation produces a life of coherent purpose, harmonious relationships, and sustained mental and emotional vitality, anchoring the individual in a state of calm, clarity, and profoundly attractive equanimity that endures regardless of external circumstance.